Welcome back. 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Josh Taylor joined by Jeff Hathhorn live from the 93.7 The Fan studio. Jeff, we have a tweet from Jason who asks, how has Mike Sullivan not even been nominated for the Jack Adams Award despite winning 2 Stanley Cup championships? And, of course, the nominees, Rob Brindamore from Carolina, Dean Evison from Minnesota, and Joe Quenneville from the Panthers. Those are your finalists for the Jack Adams Award, and not Mike Sullivan, whose team won the Mass Mutual East Division. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, and this is a regular season award. Postseason had nothing to do with this award, which makes it even more curious. But I will say this. When I first started working in Pittsburgh, when I finally got that dream to work here, one of the first trivia questions I was asked is, how many times was Chuck Noll Coach of the Year? And the answer is 0, none, nada. Because you can win, and once you win, then the expectations are, well, you've just got a loaded lineup. You've just got a lot of great players. It's not really about you. It's about these great players. Mike Sullivan probably did, and if you really fall into that camp where you believe Tristan Jarry was the reason they lost in the postseason, did as good a coaching job as he has while he's been with the team. He held this team together. They played some really good hockey, especially without some key players. Defensively, offensively, at times they were just piecing together a defense, and what he did was awesome. Now, these awards normally go to that team that comes out of nowhere, that team that's been historically bad, and that gives him no chance to probably ever win this award.
You mentioned Chuck Noll. I think Phil Jackson, too, because there was a bunch of times Phil Jackson did not win the NBA Coach of the Year award, and he only took 2 different teams for two different teams with 3 different championship dynasties. No Coach of the Year awards.
And sometimes, Josh, managing those egos is a tougher coaching job than getting a bunch of, undersized guys to play hard for you. That can be as tough as anything, and I don't think that's recognized enough across all sports.
I think that's something that people probably don't give Mike Tomlin enough credit for, if you wanted to really pull out that vein. 412-575-2600. We got Herb and Renfrew. Herb, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, Josh and Jeff. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling in.
And my football question is, did Steven Nelson sign with another team yet? If not, do you guys think there's any chance he will come back to the Steelers, the salary cap bargain like Vince Williams and Juju?
Thanks for the call, Herb. And to my knowledge, Jeff, I don't believe he has. Is that true?
He is not.
Do you think the door's closed
Steven
on
Nelson
that?
is. I mean, I would never say never because he didn't really burn a bridge when he left town, but I think the Steelers are moving on, and I think there's a couple of other areas they would like to shore up with the little bit of salary cap room that they have. Maybe another tight end, maybe somebody in the secondary, but probably not at his value. And I'm thinking if I'm Steven Nelson, I think he's doing the smart thing. You wait. You keep training, and you wait for, as horrible as this sounds, you wait for an injury, whether that's in camp or in a preseason game, and you strengthen your leverage to sign a better deal. He doesn't need necessarily to be in some team's camp for a long time playing corner. I think this is a smart move by him, but I would highly doubt that he would re-sign with the Steelers.
I have to agree with you there. I think when we found out that Cam Sutton talked about the fact that this team wanted to try to give him a bigger role, maybe promote him to that nickel back position and try to give him more opportunities, or I should say give him opportunities as far as pushing him outside and giving him opportunities instead of being that extra defensive back. So it kind of gave you that hint that maybe they were ready to move on from Steven Nelson. So I have to agree with you there. It probably just isn't the right fit for now, especially with the cap situation that they had previously. We got Gary in West Mifflin. Gary, you're on the Nightly Sports Call. Hey, Gary.
Yeah, Jeff.
What's up?
Hey, I got a comment and a question about the Steelers.
Okay.
My comment is, I don't think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. My question is, do you really think they have a shot at winning the Super Bowl?
Okay. Let's break these down one piece at a time.
Yeah.
To the comment about, we'll start with the comment about the playoffs.
Go ahead, you start, Josh. Yeah.
My answer to that is it really comes down to 2 numbers, 7 and 55. You need a healthy and productive Ben, and you need a healthy Devin Bush, and without those 2 things, the rest does not matter. As far as winning the Super Bowl, I revert to my answer to question number 1.
Yeah, I love those numbers, and I would add the number 22. If 22 can be a factor with this team and can provide a running game, I think this team becomes not only a playoff team, but a Super Bowl contender. I honestly believe that. I think this defense is still going to be good. If they get a running game going to where you have to buy into this play action and allow the receiving core, which is still really good, to be able to get downfield and make some plays, plus you added Freiermuth, another year of Eric Ebron, I think this offense can be a lot better if Ben stays healthy. But if they have that running game, I like what they're able to do, and of course that's going to be up to the guys up front. As constituted right now, I'd be skeptical of them being a Super Bowl team. There are too many other good teams in the AFC. But that's the thing. You continue that good defensive play and you get a running game, yeah, I'd put them in the mix.
Yeah, as far as Super Bowl goes, there's a handful of teams in the AFC right now I'm putting directly ahead of the Steelers. Kansas City has been that team for a couple years. I'm looking at Tennessee a lot differently now after that Julio Jones trade, because they just added another dimension that makes them dangerous. Because now defenses have to decide, are you going to load up to try to stop Derrick Henry, or are you going to back up to try to stop Julio Jones? And that's a decision that I'm glad I don't have to make. So those are two teams right there that make it hard for me to say whether or not they can come out of the AFC just off the top of my head.
Right, and then you got the Bills, who are going to be a good team. And then, Baltimore and Cleveland are right on par with the Steelers, and depending on what their quarterback play, what their injury situation is. And I think there's also a team that's there are two teams that are hanging on the periphery. Los Angeles, the Chargers, and the Miami Dolphins. They're up-and-coming teams that are kind of right on that edge, and if a few things fall their way, they've got an opportunity to make some noise too. It's going to be fun. I mean, it's just that the Steelers are just one of those teams. They're not the team like maybe they were a few years ago.
I think that's fair. And you brought up the two teams in the division that are going to make it as complicated as possible. And we're talking about trying to win 6 games in the division where, winning a couple of them might not be that easy, given the fact you have to face Cleveland and Baltimore. And both teams have upgraded significantly in the past couple of years. We got to go to our tweet of the night, brought to you by Tri-State Office Furniture. We got to talk baseball right now. Jacob deGrom from the New York Mets puts up another insane night tonight. 6 innings, gave up, I believe, 1 hit, 10 strikeouts. Jacob deGrom has now driven in more runs than he has allowed earned runs all season.